Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here to give you some more convenient news. And by convenient, I don't mean for you. Of course, I mean for the government. If you haven't been able to tell lately, we have seen a massive growth in the size and scope of the Orwellian government. And we have seen that on a massive scale in New York, especially New York City. And as this article out of the Daily Mail says, Bill De Blasio says New York City won't completely reopen until September, despite declining deaths and hospitalization rates. As it says, New York City has more than 170,000 cases of the virus and 13,536 people have died. De Blasio said Monday night a full reopening of New York City's businesses in September is a good bet. I'm sure people can wait till then. He said in the meantime, businesses would likely reopen to some extent and apply social distancing. It's not his decision to reopen the city. He must meet requirements of Governor Cuomo's reopening plan. So far, New York City meets 3 of the 7 requirements, but it is held up by a lack of hospital beds and tracing. And we're going to get into that more shortly. Cuomo says the city needs to have 2,520 contact tracers in place to track down possible infections. The mayor's office says they are on track to meet that by May 15th, but won't say how many have been hired. It must also boost its free hospital beds. It has by 4% and lower the new hospitalization rate. Cuomo said on Tuesday he was not willing to put the economy before human lives by reopening too soon. Well, Cuomo, I don't know if you realize this, even Bill Gates admits this, but the shutdowns will kill more people than the virus. It's just a fact. Starvation leads to death. Starvation leads to a health crisis. A health crisis leads to more illness and more poverty and more problems, and it just goes in a circle, but that's exactly what you want, isn't it? People to be desperate on their knees, begging the government for help. This is... First of all, before I go any further, guys, hit the like button, check the links below, help us out any way you can, because these videos keep getting taken down by YouTube for calling out the obvious need for people to make money to feed their families. It's sickening. But it goes without saying that these Orwellian tactics that have been put into place for something that is killing 0.08% to 0.2% rather than the original 3.5% to 7% is absolutely absurd. And if people realized the actual death rate when all these shutdowns were put in place just a couple months ago, they would have never accepted shutdowns, but it's an incremental frog boil, so people have just fallen into it and accepted it out of responsibility, quote unquote. No, it's collective responsibility, and that's slavery. Individual responsibility would be feeding your family, not supporting such an obvious lie. As this article out of the Daily News says, out of work and out of money, New Yorkers remain frustrated by overburdened state unemployment system. Of course, everyone's unemployed. It's one of the worst weeks for unemployment in history. I mean, as a matter of fact, worst jobs report in history. 20.5 million jobs lost as unemployment rate hits record 14.7%. Tell me how that's a good thing. 52% of small businesses expect to be out of business within 6 months. Shocking new survey. It's not all that shocking, is it? And this, as someone even like Bill Gates says, that the shutdowns will kill more people than the virus itself. The virus didn't kill as many people as he thought. But we need to keep these shutdowns going because, well, how else will we control the masses? It's a perfect script, guys. Again, these videos keep getting taken down for me daring to talk about this obvious attempt to completely take away every remaining individual liberty anyone might have. I do want to get into this whole contact tracing thing, which has been really ramped up in New York. As this says, wanted in New York, thousands of COVID-19 contact tracers. Now, you might ask, what are contact tracers? Well, as this says out of WebMD, which I don't usually read, but as it says, the use of contact tracing is one of the oldest public health tactics, dating back centuries, said Lori Trammell Freeman, Chief Executive Officer for the National Association of County and City Health Officials. And I quote, it means that as soon as you know of a person who may have a virus or have tested presumptive positive, you work immediately to first isolate that person so they do not spread it further, Freeman said. You keep them away from other people, and then you work with that person directly to understand who they have come in contact with. Contact tracers wind up tracking a spider web of transmission following a pathogen like the coronavirus as it spreads from person to person. Each person who's been infected is asked about their contacts, and then those contacts are approached. Well, obviously, they are moving into a whole new system of contact tracing. We remember a couple months ago, Bill Gates calls for a national tracking system for coronavirus during Reddit AMA. Well, that's exactly what's coming out, as it says, a passwordless server run by NSO Group sparks contact tracing privacy concerns. There are calls left and right for phone apps to trace where you've been, who you've come in contact with, and I'm sure it's just well-meaning. It's just to stop the coronavirus, which again may kill as many, if not just slightly more than the average flu. And we could get into the fact that the U.S. government gave $3.7 million twice to a Wuhan lab for investigations run by Fauci into coronavirus in bats that's 96% similar to the novel coronavirus, and literally investigating into how to splice those viruses and create viruses that can spread to humans. I'm sure nothing nefarious about that. I'm sure there's no plan there regarding China, technocracy, the cashless society, and utilizing this as an excuse to crack down on everyone, force them into their homes, take over private property like communism, force everyone into dependency by poverty, and then force vaccinate and obviously track everyone everywhere they go. No. Why would a government want more control over the populace utilizing a crisis? Who utilizes a crisis? Oh, right. Governments. I wonder how that came to be. No one is going to ask that question. Is it wrong to ask that question? The fact of the matter is most people are asking that question. But if they dare talk about it on social media, their accounts get taken down. All the while, we see things like this. Orwellian NYPD swarms parks to enforce social distancing. What is this? A military state now? NYC residents annoyed at Orwellian cops monitoring their every move on sunny day at public parks. It's like something out of 1984. Well, obviously, if we want to stop the spread of coronavirus and want social distancing, let's add countless people that come into contact with people all day, every day that have had a huge rate of coronavirus to come around and touch you and abuse you and steal your money. And possibly throw you in a cage, you know, those cages that they just emptied out a bunch of violent, murderous criminals out of so that they had more room to put innocent people who brought their children to parks or opened up hair salons. If you don't see this yet as a complete coordinated attack on you, I really don't know what to tell you anymore. You've really drank the Kool-Aid, my friends. And we see articles like this. No good deed goes unpunished. Governor Cuomo sending income tax bills to out-of-state health volunteers. Looking for states that have spent beyond their means to come up with new and original ways to squeeze people. New York's plan takes the cake, though. And as it says, Cuomo has revealed that the thousands of generous healthcare workers from other states who answered New York's desperate calls for volunteers to help the hard-hit state with its COVID-19 crisis will be receiving New York State income tax bills for the period of time they were helping out in New York. In an Orwellian turn of the phrase, the governor said that not taxing them for the time these residents of other states risk their health to serve New York would amount to giving them subsidies. Guys, the government isn't there to protect you. It has never been more obvious. They're stealing your money. They're trying to have as much control as possible over you. They're putting you in a situation where you beg them for help. You're desperate. You don't have a job. You have no way to feed your family. And then they call you selfish if you ask for or you want to go back to work and provide for your family. And then if you go and volunteer for the government, they steal more of your money. If you're helping people that are sick or whatever. And then you criticize any of these issues, and you're called a nurse hater. Again, selfish. Someone that wants to kill old people. And a denier with all the Holocaust connotations. Meanwhile, the government has gone full Nazi and is taking away every remaining individual liberty you have while utilizing a crisis to basically put chips in your arms, ID 2020, and follow you around and monitor you everywhere. And we can't forget Bill Gates was involved in Event 201, which is an exercise that followed a coronavirus pandemic that took place in October 2019, utilizing many of the top figures in the task force for coronavirus, and with help from the Johns Hopkins Institute. And Bill Gates funds the World Health Organization, which is headed by Tedros, who is one of the heads of the Communist Party in Ethiopia, which murdered a bunch of people, and they're working hand in hand with China. And China is one of the biggest technocracies in the world. It is the biggest technocracy in the world. It's unbelievably Orwellian and totalitarian with social credit scores, and now they have a reason to give you social credit scores based on whether or not you've had the coronavirus and who you've come in contact with, and trace you everywhere and go cashless. And this isn't conspiracy theory, guys. This is a fact. This is what they're doing. This is what they say they're doing. And at what point do we go, wait a second, this seems slightly like slavery, like some kind of technocratic slavery. We can't say that, though. It's off limits. Then we are dirty thought criminals that dare to question the narrative of the all-powerful government that only benefits from controlling us more, all while we see new studies come out like this one that says, leading German virologist, COVID-19 less deadly than we thought. Well, no kidding. German scientist Professor Hendrik Streeck has been studying groups of subjects in his country and has reached a number of compelling provisional findings regarding the viral behavior of the new coronavirus. Streeck also explains why he thinks that the draconian lockdown measures were decided in haste and may ultimately be deemed to have been completely unnecessary, yet they'll kill way more people economically. Fauci says he doesn't even want herd immunity. He said that in a recent press conference. And he's involved in the original investigations into coronavirus and how to splice them and put them into humans, spread them to humans in Wuhan. Have we gone insane? I mean, have we gone insane that this isn't the number one biggest controversial, biggest scandal in history? Instead, everyone's just bowing down. Put on your mask. Drive by yourself down the street with a mask on. That's a mark. You can call it the mark of the beast. I don't know. It's more of like a mark of slavery at this point. The mark of the beast will be the ID 2020. And again, talking about this will get very likely this video taken down. This is why we need you guys to help out any way you can. I mean, my God, the information war has never been at more of a struggle. And we're on BitChute. We're on float.app, flote.app. And if you guys don't follow us there, we're just going to be gone. All you have is Fox News, CNN, and Vice saying that anyone that protests is a Nazi. Meanwhile, we've been interviewing people here in Mexico who also want to go to work. I just bumped into one of them tonight who almost cried. I recognize him from the protest. He needed some beans to put into the tortilla because the government gave him a food stamp good for 1 kilo of tortillas. And now he has a bunch of tortillas that are going bad and no way to provide electricity in his house to freeze the tortillas. He has nothing to put in the tortillas. He has a family. And he almost started crying to me, talking about it. And he went to a restaurant that said, we might be able to help you. They were closed. So he was like, I don't know what to do. We're screwed. We have no way to feed ourselves. It's just horrible. But no, anyone that questions a narrative is a Nazi. That's the narrative they're going with. How much longer are we going to put up with this, guys? It's the most absolutely absurd, most destructive thing we have ever faced in human history. The biggest control power grab the biggest global depression in world history, based on lies. But no, those people that want to feed their family and go back to work are selfish. I hope you share this on social media. It's the only way we can actually get videos out these days because we're incredibly shadow banned. They're not letting people see our videos. 97% of our views on our videos now are coming from external shares on Facebook and Float and other social media platforms. So we need you guys to share this video and get the information out. Otherwise, no one will see it. 3% actually comes from subscribers. No suggestions. They don't suggest the videos to anyone anymore. Just Fox News and CNN. It's an insult to you guys. It's an insult to everyone. And it's just another example of how they're controlling people and leading into the massive power shift into Chinese-style technocracy worldwide. And people are just walking into it, doing nothing. Anyway, I appreciate you joining us. I'd love to bring you guys positive news, but this is... I can't say swears either because AI will catch it. This is BS. Absolute BS. I'm doing this video in the middle of the night because I saw the story. We need to talk about these issues. Call them out. Shoo the snakes out of the den. Anyway, I appreciate everyone joining me. Until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change. Like what you see here, OM? Don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribe Star. We really can't do it without you. We've been so insanely shadow banned, about 90% at this point, and 95% demonetized. As Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, comes in and says that she is shutting down quote-unquote controversial content and cutting out the views on this controversial content by 70%. She's been bragging about it. We need your help more than ever in this battle for truth in information. You guys are what keeps us alive, so we really appreciate just even $1 a month makes a huge difference. If everyone could give just $1 a month, we wouldn't even have to worry about competing against the mainstream propaganda networks. You can also donate to our Bitcoin address on the screen for you to scan if you please, as well as in the comments and description. Liking and sharing makes a big difference as well, and finding us on alternative social media platforms like float.app, that's flote.app, makes a huge difference. We're at Josh Sigurdson as well as at Wham. Float is replacing Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Tumblr, Reddit, and Patreon all in one with encrypted private messaging, and of course monetization on videos for creators, live streams with super chats in crypto, and most of all, no algorithm, because at the end of the day, it's all about reach, guys. This is all about actually reaching people with the message and waking up the public. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, Minds, BitChute, all sorts of different platforms. Try to follow us on as many things as possible, because very soon this channel will very likely just be completely deleted from YouTube, and you'll never see us again, and you'll be stuck with only the mainstream networks. Also, come on out and see us at Anarcho Vegas 2020 in Las Vegas, Nevada in July, where such speakers such as G. Edward Griffin and many others will be speaking. You could use promo code WHAM on your VIP tickets and save 10%, as well as buy extremely cheap tickets for just $20.20. You won't find a cheaper conference than this with such amazing names. Check anarchovegas.com for more information on that. We hope to see you out there. And anyway, I really appreciate all of you guys joining us. You make it possible for us to survive in this volatile, propagandized climate. Until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.